Welcome to Ladies and Gentlemen. Everyone, have you ever wondered what truly sets millionaires apart from the rest of the world? Is it luck? Is it family background? Or some secret formula passed down in hidden boardrooms? The truth is far more powerful and far more accessible. It's mindset. That's right. The way millionaires think is what truly differentiates them from the average person. Success starts in the mind. Before any wealth, before any fame or fortune, there is a decision, a belief that says, I will not live an average life. And that belief becomes a mindset, which becomes a habit, which becomes a reality. To train your mind like a millionaire, you don't need to be born rich. You need to be born ready to learn, ready to grow, and ready to take responsibility for your life. Millionaires see obstacles as opportunities. They don't say, why me? They say, try me. They invest in themselves before they invest in anything else. They wake up early. They read. They think long term. They surround themselves with mentors, not distractions. They are focused, resilient, and willing to take calculated risks. They don't fear failure. They study it. And most importantly, they act on their dreams, while others just daydream. Your brain is like a muscle. If you train it with discipline, vision, and belief, you will develop the mindset of a winner. And when your mindset changes, your results change. So, if you want to live like a millionaire, first learn to think like one. The money will follow, but the mindset must come first. Mindset is the foundation. Everything in life begins in the mind. Before a millionaire earns their first dollar, closes their first deal, or builds their first company, they build their mindset. This is the internal blueprint that dictates how they see the world, how they interpret challenges, and how they respond to failure. While most people operate with a mindset of limitation, believing things like, I'm not good enough, that's too risky, or people like me can't succeed, millionaires train themselves to think differently. They rewire their thoughts through intention and discipline. A millionaire mindset is one of abundance rather than scarcity. It's not just about wanting more. It's about believing that more is possible. It's the belief that your current situation is not your final destination. It's the understanding that you can improve, grow, and build wealth by changing the way you think, act, and react. This kind of mindset doesn't happen by accident. It's built through habits like daily learning, affirmations, setting clear goals, and staying focused. Millionaires condition themselves to be mentally strong. They embrace responsibility. They know that blaming others or making excuses only weakens their power. Instead, they ask empowering questions like, what can I learn from this? Or, how can I improve this situation? These questions open the mind to solutions instead of dwelling on problems. Moreover, a millionaire mindset is resilient. When they fail, they don't fall apart. They reflect and reset. When they face rejection, they don't take it personally. They use it as fuel to push forward. Where others see dead ends, millionaires see detours. They expect obstacles, but they don't let those obstacles define them. In short, their thoughts shape their reality. They understand that what you focus on expands. So they focus on progress, growth, and opportunity. That's why mindset is not just important. It's the foundation on which all success is built. Without the right mindset, even the best strategies won't work. But with the right mindset, even the toughest challenges become stepping stones towards something greater. Believe in possibility. One of the most defining traits of self-made millionaires is their unshakable belief in what's possible. They don't limit their dreams to what already exists. They imagine what could be. Where the average person might look at a problem and say, this can't be done, a millionaire in the making looks at the same challenge and thinks, there must be a way. Believing in possibility is more than blind optimism. It's a mindset rooted in confidence, vision, and courage. It's the ability to look beyond your current circumstances, no matter how difficult they may be, and still believe that greater success, wealth, freedom, and fulfillment are not only possible, but within reach. It's understanding that the world is filled with opportunities, many of which are invisible until your mind is trained to see them. People who believe in possibility don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't wait for permission or ideal timing. They move forward with faith, even when the path isn't clear. That belief gives them the momentum to start and the resilience to keep going when others would quit. While most people let fear and self-doubt stop them from taking action, millionaires learn to trust their instincts, bet on themselves, and push through uncertainty. This belief doesn't mean they never doubt or fear failure. It means they act in spite of it. Because they know that success doesn't require perfection, it requires movement. Every great innovation, business, or achievement started with someone who simply believed that it could be done, someone who dared to see what others couldn't, and had the courage to chase it relentlessly. Believing in possibility also influences how you see yourself. Millionaires understand that they are not stuck with the traits or skills they were born with. They believe in growth. They believe they can learn new things, develop new abilities, and evolve into the person who is capable of achieving massive success. They do not let their past define their future. Instead, they believe that with effort, focus, and time, they can create a new reality. This kind of belief is powerful. It fuels creativity. It energizes action. It invites new opportunities. And most importantly, it builds the inner strength needed to weather storms, take risks, and pursue goals that others might consider unrealistic. Because in the mind of a millionaire, realistic is just another word for limited thinking. They don't just dream big, they believe big. Focus on self-investment. If there's one thing every millionaire understands deeply, it's this: you are your greatest asset. Before they invest in stocks, real estate, or business ventures, they first invest in themselves. Because without the right mindset, knowledge, and personal discipline, even the best financial opportunities can be lost. That's why self-made millionaires make it a lifelong priority to grow, mentally, emotionally, and skillfully. Self-investment comes in many forms. It starts with education, not just traditional schooling, but ongoing learning. Millionaires are voracious readers, curious thinkers, and lifelong students. They read books on business, psychology, leadership, finance, and self-development. They attend seminars, watch lectures, take courses, and seek out mentors. They know that every piece of knowledge gained adds value to their decision-making, expands their vision, and sharpens their ability to spot opportunities where others see none. But it's not just about learning facts, it's about learning how to think. Millionaires train their minds to think critically, creatively, and strategically. They invest in habits that sharpen focus, enhance memory, and promote mental clarity. This kind of mental training doesn't happen overnight. It requires patience and consistent effort. But over time, it builds a foundation that supports smarter decisions and greater success. Self-investment also includes emotional mastery. Millionaires understand the importance of managing their emotions, especially fear, stress, frustration, and impatience. They develop emotional intelligence by becoming self-aware, learning how to respond instead of react, and maintaining composure in high-pressure situations. This emotional strength allows them to lead teams, manage conflicts, and handle the ups and downs of the business world with grace. In addition, they invest in their physical well-being. Why? Because health is wealth. A sharp mind needs a healthy body. Millionaires are intentional about exercise, sleep, and nutrition. Not just for vanity or fitness, but because they know it directly impacts their energy, discipline, and performance. They treat their body like an engine that powers their ambition. Even their time is invested wisely. Millionaires know the value of every hour and minute. They guard their schedule, eliminate distractions, and say no to things that don't align with their goals. Every minute spent scrolling endlessly or procrastinating is a minute lost that could have been used to grow, build, and get ahead. The truth is, success doesn't begin when you get a raise or open a business. It begins the moment you decide to take full ownership of your growth. Millionaires don't wait for someone else to train them, teach them, or push them. They take that responsibility themselves. They understand that the more they grow, the more they earn. And that's why self-investment is not an option. It's a necessity for anyone who wants to live at the highest level of their potential. Turn failures into lessons. One of the most powerful traits of a millionaire mindset is the ability to see failure not as defeat, but as feedback. For most people, failure is something to be feared, avoided, or even hidden. But for millionaires, failure is a teacher, a necessary and valuable part of the journey toward success. They understand that setbacks are not signs that they should quit, but signs that they are pushing boundaries, trying new things, and daring to grow. Failure, in fact, is where the most meaningful learning happens. When something doesn't go according to plan, average minds focus on the embarrassment, the loss, or the disappointment. But millionaire minds immediately shift to analysis. What went wrong? What can be improved? What systems failed? What assumptions were incorrect? This reflective process transforms failure from a painful memory into a strategic advantage. Millionaires often talk about their failures openly because they don't see them as marks of shame. They see them as badges of experience. Each failed venture, misstep, or rejection has sharpened their understanding of how the world works and how success is truly achieved. They've learned that no business, investment, or dream comes without risk, and that those risks sometimes lead to short-term losses. But they also know that hidden within every failure is a seed of wisdom that, if nurtured, can lead to even greater victories. Resilience is born from these lessons. When you fail and get back up, you become mentally stronger. You develop grit, the kind of inner toughness that can't be taught in a classroom. This toughness becomes your competitive edge. Millionaires don't succeed because they never fail. They succeed because they keep moving forward despite failing, and because they use every mistake as fuel for the next move. Think long term. One of the most crucial mindset shifts that separates millionaires from the average thinker is the ability to think beyond today. While most people are focused on short-term gratification, getting paid quickly, seeing immediate results, or avoiding discomfort, millionaires operate with a long-term vision. They don't chase instant rewards. They build systems, habits, and businesses that compound over time. Thinking long-term means playing the infinite game. It's about understanding that real success is not built in a week, a month, or even a year. It's built over years of strategic decisions, disciplined action, and delayed gratification. Millionaires look 5, 10, even 20 years ahead. They ask themselves, how will this choice impact my future? Rather than, what feels good right now? This mindset gives them a huge advantage in a world that is constantly chasing quick wins. When you think long-term, you naturally begin to prioritize differently. You start investing your money instead of spending it on things that lose value. You spend more time learning and less time seeking entertainment. You focus on building relationships that matter instead of wasting time on shallow interactions. Every decision becomes more intentional, more aligned with your ultimate goals. Millionaires understand the power of compounding, not just in terms of money, but in knowledge, habits, and effort. They know that small, consistent actions taken over time create massive results. Whether it's reading 10 pages a day, saving a percentage of every dollar earned, or nurturing their health, they trust the process. They are willing to work without applause, to be patient through the dry seasons, and to stay focused when results aren't immediate. Because they know those who endure the wait will eventually enjoy the reward. This long-term perspective also makes them emotionally stronger. They don't panic when they experience a loss or when progress is slow. They don't abandon their goals at the first sign of struggle. Instead, they zoom out and look at the big picture. Temporary setbacks don't discourage them because they see them as small bumps on a much bigger journey. Thinking long-term also allows them to take calculated risks, because their focus isn't on whether something pays off today, but whether it helps build a better tomorrow. They are more likely to make sacrifices in the present, working longer hours, living below their means, or walking away from short-term temptations because they are committed to a future that is far greater than their current situation. In a world of quick fixes, overnight fame, and instant everything, long-term thinking is a rare superpower. It demands vision. It requires discipline. But it pays off in ways that short-term thinking never can. Millionaires don't just look at where they are, they focus on where they are going. Every action they take is a brick in the foundation of their future success. And that future, they know, is worth every ounce of patience and persistence they invest today. Take action, not just dream. Dreaming is easy. Almost everyone has dreams of financial freedom, travel, success, and making an impact. But dreams without action are just fantasies. What separates millionaires from daydreamers is their ability to move. While many people spend their lives thinking, planning, and hoping, millionaires do. They understand that ideas mean nothing without execution. Taking action is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Millionaires don't wait until everything is perfect to begin. They don't wait until they feel ready. They take the first step, even if it's messy, even if it's small, even if it's uncertain. They know that clarity comes through action, not just contemplation. You can study, strategize, and visualize all you want, but until you start building, nothing real changes. Action also creates momentum. The hardest part of achieving anything is starting. But once you begin, each step builds on the last. Momentum gives you confidence. It gives you feedback. It pushes you through fear and resistance. Millionaires know that even imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. They'd rather make a mistake and learn from it than sit still and remain stuck. Consistent action is what transforms goals into reality. Millionaires treat their goals like commitments, not wishes. They break them down into daily tasks, weekly targets, and monthly milestones. They work when it's boring. They push through distractions. They stay consistent when motivation fades, because they understand that discipline beats motivation every time. They show up, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. They also understand that action creates opportunity. When you move, you put yourself in motion. You meet new people. You uncover new ideas. Doors start to open, not because you waited, but because you knocked. Many people are sitting still, hoping someone will find them and offer them a chance. Millionaires don't wait to be discovered. They create value, show up in the marketplace, and make things happen. It's not that millionaires don't dream. They do. But they don't live in their dreams. They use them as a compass and then get to work. They know that execution is the real magic. That success doesn't come to the person with the most brilliant idea, but to the person who has the courage and discipline to act on even a simple one. Moreover, they embrace the discomfort that comes with action. Action means risk. It means potential failure. It means effort. But they'd rather feel the pain of effort than the regret of doing nothing. They understand that the discomfort of growth is temporary, but the regret of inaction can last a lifetime. Whether it's launching a business, making a sales call, writing a proposal, or learning a new skill, millionaires take action even when they don't feel like it. That's how they separate themselves. That's how they get results. They are not just thinkers. They are doers. They are not waiting for life to change. They are out there changing it themselves, step by step, action by action. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. No one becomes a millionaire in isolation. Behind every great success story is a network of influence, people who challenge, support, and inspire growth. Millionaires are incredibly intentional about who they spend their time with because they understand a powerful truth. Your environment shapes your mindset, and your mindset shapes your destiny. If you surround yourself with people who complain, procrastinate, and make excuses, you will unconsciously adopt their habits. Their fears will become your fears. Their limitations will become your limitations. But when you place yourself among individuals who think big, dream boldly, and take action, it elevates your standards. Their energy pulls you forward. Their ambition reminds you of what's possible. Growth-minded people are not just dreamers. They are doers. They read, they build, they invest in themselves, and they take responsibility for their lives. Being around them forces you to level up. They won't let you settle for average, and they won't participate in your excuses. They'll hold you accountable. They'll challenge you when you start thinking small. They'll remind you of your goals when you lose focus. Millionaires deliberately seek out mentors, coaches, and peer groups that push them to grow. They're not afraid to be the least experienced person in the room, because that's where the most growth happens. They ask questions. They listen. They observe how successful people think, speak, plan, and recover from setbacks. Every conversation becomes a lesson. Every relationship becomes a source of insight. They also understand the importance of energy. The people around you either feed your fire or drain it. Millionaires choose to spend their time with those who bring positivity, solutions, ideas, and action, not gossip, negativity, or envy. They protect their inner circle like it's their greatest asset, because in many ways, it is. The wrong environment can kill a dream before it even begins, but the right one can accelerate it beyond imagination. And it's not just about receiving value, it's about contributing too. Growth-minded relationships are two-way streets. Millionaires give as much as they take. They share knowledge, uplift others, and collaborate with people who are just as driven as they are. They build communities where success is shared, not hoarded, where encouragement is normal and mediocrity is not accepted. They also recognize that growth-minded people are not always easy to find, but they're worth searching for. Sometimes you have to outgrow old friendships. Sometimes you have to change your environment, leave certain groups, or stop spending time with people who keep you stuck in the past. That's not selfish. It's strategic. Because you can't fly if you're surrounded by anchors. By surrounding themselves with people who are moving forward, learning constantly, and refusing to settle, millionaires create an ecosystem of elevation. Ideas flow, confidence grows, standards rise, and within that environment, extraordinary success becomes not just possible, but inevitable.